2 days ago, the UK Royal Marines confiscated a ship which they claim was carrying illegally oil to Syria that had come from Iran. Now, the ship was sailing under a Panama flag, but it was also a registered company inside of Singapore. The ship is accused of delivering crude oil to Syria in violation of sanctions against Damascus. The territory is generally considered to be under Spanish rule. Madrid, who welcomed the move, said that the Royal Marines were acting on behalf of the U.S. government, saying that it was carrying Iranian oil. U.S. officials have publicly supported the actions. The detained ship had a 28-person crew, mostly Indians, but also some Pakistanis and Ukrainians. They are being interviewed as witnesses, not criminal suspects, Gibraltar officials said. The authorities are currently working to establish the nature of the cargo and its destination. Now, as a result of this, Iran had summoned the ambassador from the UK to discuss the matter. Now, they called it an act of piracy and a destructive step. Now, the foreign ministry spokesman Abbas Mousavi argued that the sanctions against Syria are illegal, and thus, as a result, Iran does not recognize them. The next day, Major General Mohsen Rezaei of Iran's Revolutionary Guard sent out a tweet suggesting that Iran should seize a British ship if the UK government does not release their tanker. Should Britain refuse to release the ship, it is the authorities' duty to seize a British oil tanker, he argued. Now, this is very much obviously Britain carrying out the role of imperialism in the world. Now, they have placed sanctions against Damascus, which are illegal under international law, and thus nobody is obligated to actually enforce them, which would include Iran. However, Iran feels that they can send oil or crude oil to the country, which could then be refined and used in the efforts to defeat ISIS and the US-backed terrorists inside the country. No doubt this is definitely a power play by the United States to place further pressure on Damascus now that their backed forces inside the country are failing. The al-Nusra Front, funded and controlled by the United States, and also as well Israel and Saudi Arabia, have been on the defensive for some time now, are on the verge of absolute collapse. And this goes with the Islamic State as well, something the United States is also responsible for the creation of. And also, this is another move intended to provoke Iran, as the United States has completely acted in a dishonorable manner, unilaterally withdrew from the JCPOA agreement, has repeatedly accused Iran of violating the agreement, which has been certified not only by the European partners, but by the International Atomic Energy Agency, which watches over these things. Iran is not was never in violation of the rules. And now the United States has placed new pressures on Iran, trying to destabilize the country because the previous sanctions had not worked. Now, it's very clear that this is another attempt to provoke Iran into carrying out some kind of act that the U.S. could use as a justification for war. We saw previously Iran was baselessly accused of attacking a Japanese oil tanker, which even the Japanese government says wasn't Iran. Even the guy who owned the company who owned the oil tanker said that it was not Iran, but that they could not yet figure out who had actually carried out the attack, but they had no reason to believe that it was Iran. What we're seeing here is a repeated pattern of behavior by the United States and now by the UK as well, in order to try to provoke Iran into a confrontation which that it can then use as a pretext for going to war against the Islamic State. And this is because Iran has held out against U.S. imperialism. One of the main things for dealing with war in the U.S. is justifying it to the American people and saying that the U.S.'s allies, and the people who are supposedly in league with us, like the UK, are defending them and helping them is a reason for trying to go to war against the country. Claiming that Iran has been attacking Saudi assets really hasn't motivated the population of the U.S. to want to go to war. Generally, the U.S. population doesn't feel like dying for Saudi oil profits. So it seems like a new kind of justification for the war is needed, and that's exactly what we're looking at in this situation. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.